my screen with you. Okay, so let me share the screen in LCD. Yeah, good. So are you able to see the screen, right? Okay. So this website, most of you know, right? So this is NCBI, and it is not just one database. It is father of all biological databases. So it's actually it has so many databases, right? So today's class will be focusing several examples of these databases, and obviously somebody is programming for this database. So whether they are programming in Python or they are programming in another language, they are programming. And then in bioinformatics, we need to take this database, use this database somehow, or in biology as well. And then we want the data to be fetch in a different ways, and then fetch this data using bio Python or any other way, yeah, so that you can keep on working with the data. So, and then another thing is that this is their database, the NCBI. Okay, I can put my data there. They allow me to put my data, but that belong to them. But suppose I want to build up an database of myself. So now India is also building NCBI like project where they will put Indian data, because this is American. So tomorrow if there is a world war, America will shut down. Yeah. So if there is a corona crisis, you also saw that something like that happened, that people said, okay, even when the vaccine is coming, who will get first? If the Americans are developing, Americans will get first. There's no question about it. Yeah. So the country will first feed themselves. So data is also money. So data also you put it yours. So the my data is there. A lot of my data is there, but all the credit of my data is going to whom? To NCBI, right? So you not always want to give others credit, and sometimes you want to pull data of yourself, and therefore you put lot of data of at your own server, or you buy a server and put it. So there are two kind of biology, right? So one where you put it in NCBI and larger server, and this is larger server, and then there are servers which are publicly available, maintained by individual group. So in case of the student who are from IIT Guwahati, they are working on RNA-seq. And so tomorrow, if you set up a platform where you pull out your RNA-seq data results and RNA-seq finding, you can pull it out. Yeah. So these are all useful for database management. So basically, uh, we have to find database. We have to find a database within ourselves. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go, and then we will have today's lecture will be focusing both types of the course, and tomorrow there will be more practicing. So practicing about databases. So what is biological databases or any databases? For instance, you will have a database you will place somewhere, and that will be, you can, database can be local for your email IDs, details, or address book is also kind of a database, or your how many files are there in your computer. That is also you can make a database out of it. And so what is important here in this context, I'm going to show you biological databases. So what is database? Database is a collection of structure, searchable, updated. You need to update it whenever there is update. Like suppose your address book. Probably every 6 months you update, remove those who are email IDs are dead. So now nobody is using Hotmail email ID, or say once upon a time India Times email ID. Nobody is using those. 20 years back they were famous. So basically you update it time to time, create a content, uh, create a new addition, provide links to other databases, so that suppose you have an email ID of someone, you want to give access also want to have a searchable their Facebook ID, LinkedIn ID, blah 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 blah. So all you can collect in a structured way and put it in a put it in a base of data basically. So that is the database. This and why biological databases? Because there is exponential growth in biological data. So as you are familiar with my talk, that I always give you that biological data annually is growing 4 times, because in every 6 months is getting double. So in 1 year it will be 4 times the volume of the previous volume. Yeah. So therefore it is important that you keep your sequence structure expression to a database. A lot of people generate and they do not have the capacity to pull it, so they pull it into a central server, primarily until now maintained by Americans for the entire world. But slowly Europeans also, Japanese also have done it, and when the money is coming in India and China, they will also try to be leader there. So there, what could be in the biological database actually? So what you normally find in biological database, you find gene, RNA, protein, and what else you find in database actually? You also find annotation, reference, publication, taxonomy, annotation, location of the isolate, keywords, cross-reference. So a lot of information you will find in the biological database. Just a minute. Yeah, I just yeah. So these are three different databases actually. So those who are aware of these information. So primarily all of us are aware to some level or other level. So we will be looking into the manual ones, semi-manual ones, and several ways of doing that today. And then the main database is, as I told you, GenBank. And GenBank is American. EMBL EBI is from Europe. EMBL EBI is from UK and Germany. And then DDJC is from Japan. Yeah. So, and these informations are routinely exchanged between themselves. So they are not claiming that they are leaders. They just they had budget and they come up. It's a joint effort. But if the globe is breaking out one day, and the money is there's a shortage of money in America, America will pull down all the data to their computers and not let others to access. And there are several times in history PubMed got that threat that they will be getting closed. So then type of databases you see at EBI, we see that there is a database. There what you see is this Omega cluster software you can download, Interpro scan you can do, blast against your sequence you can do. So all of us know what is blast or no. If anybody don't know what is blast, do ask me. Okay, but I assume that the most of the people in the biology and most of you who attend my classes know what is blast. Blast is nothing but a pattern searching. You have suppose your name is Jyoti, and it's just searching the Jyoti word in a library of email address. It is searching for only that, and that word Jyoti may become very big. Jyoti Singh Randhawa, or even bigger, Jyoti Singh Randhawa, Punjab wale, India wale, world wale, and then it doesn't matter how big is the keyword actually. So it's actually protein sequence or DNA sequence is just nothing but a word or a sentence or a line. So the blast is only looking for that word or sentence in computationally string, and it is matching the string into database of strings. So database of strings are DNA sequence database. So basically this is, so Ensemble is another sequence database, genomic sequence database, protein sequences are also there. And then we have a protein database, we have a protein structure database, and there are several databases, and if you go there, you will find some more. And then these Japani ones also looks very similar, right? So they they are and they are directly claiming that the NCBI is American, EBI is the European, and this they are exchanging, and then short they are called NSDC. So whenever you are doing a study, you have to publish your data into your into a repository, and if you are not doing it, you will be your paper will be not accepted, or it will be delayed until you publish. So you have to deposit it. So we will see today some of the examples, even RNA-seq. Yeah? So you need to give them access so that what you are saying is correct, or somebody want to repeat tomorrow the experiment. So GenBank is one of the format which we have seen, right? GenBank we have already seen. Have you seen GenBank? GenBank will have nucleotide access, and there is a different subunit of GenBank. GenBank has the overall, so there's a growth pattern shown here, and then GenBank will have nucleotide sequence from, you can submit it from one PCR experiment, or you can submit it from whole genome, RNA-seq, transcriptome, anything you pull it, it will be one copy will be available in GenBank. Then this is a 215 release of GenBank, and then there's this many base pair of human or other each species entire genome itself is a database, yeah. And this is like a database of GenBank is a database of database. It has a human database. You have a Danio database. It has Arabidopsis database. It has Origi sativa database. And so the database becomes very prominent use, yeah. And you will see this RefSeq here, right? In RefSeq is the reference sequence, means one copy of reference is available, and then in database you can search it here. You can fetch it from FTP. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of the FTP, but today we'll be aware of the FTP, yeah. So is one more way of downloading sequence, yeah. So it's called file transfer protocol. And so in the browser, how much you can fetch in from a browser is there, you can limitedly fetch, but then if you do FTP, you can fetch large volume at the same time, and on programmatically or by. And then in the reference seq, you will get different data. So genome, several type of genomic data sets, microRNA, means messenger RNA, RNA, predicted RNA, proteins. So you get lot of data, and those data are actually, it's a massive data source. So those who are maintaining it is doing a big amount of job. They have to do it. And I'll explain you why. And then you have a whole genome shotgun database, and there you'll pull out all the genomic sequences. And mind you, these are all part of a large GenBank. And then you have sequence read archive. So when you're doing the RNA-seq experiment or DNA-seq experiment, you get a lot of sequences, and those sequences are submitted here. And there is a procedure you have to follow, and you have to submit it. Otherwise, if I'm your reviewer and I do not see your sequence here, I will still doubt, because they will maintain it. You do not have to maintain it, right? So, and again, if you want to suppose extract a protein sequence, if there is a C elegans CTC is put, you just if you want to only download that sequence or extract it, actually you can just say search here, and you will get a result like this. Maybe not as quick as I click it from button, but you will get it. So then what you get it is that the protein matching this. Then you have 20 hits per page. You have 18 sequences. Then you have 18 ref sequences or not. You will get it. Start getting further classification of that data, and then you will get a sequence. So if it is a first sequence or second sequence, you can choose based on the information. The first one has the proper annotation. So therefore you will take the first one, and then if suppose you want to retrieve all of them, you can just say in summary, you can fetch many things. You can say get me XSN data, XSN ID. So each of them have an XSN ID. Say 2222 is from first one, second one 179.1, 179.1. So you are able to fetch the information. So basically, information is placed in a way that you can very easily fetch it by clicking. But how many of them you can click and download? That's the question. So maybe 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 20,000, 30,000. But if it is in values in lakhs or crores, you want to download the entire data set of BLAST, then how you will do it? There or want to fetch it, so you want to do it in a more systematic way, and that's when you start connecting to databases from different sources and fetching the data. And then you can also now click this sequence. If you are interested in only one sequence, click one of them and you will start getting this kind of information, right? So you see lot of information is there from different source. Now you're using programming, you can parse this information if you want to put it in an Excel file, right? In Python, you can parse it, you can match the pattern, right? Well, a regular expression or any other. So in BioPython will be able to do it because BioPython has already built-in function or definition. Def is already built in BioPython module. And but suppose you want to fetch it only a sequence, you can say sequence, I want to fetch it, and the format is a protein sequence, so GenPet is the format, and then you say create file, it will download into the file. You can also take an example. Somebody is writing message. I am not able to see the message now, but we'll discuss it at the end of the, or you have to say it by voice, yeah, because I'm not able to see the message at the moment, yeah. So because I'm totally involved in telling you about protein sequences, about this analysis, and this is where we, if you are training with entire foundation genomics, this is where we are initially also starting, yeah. So then I told you that in BioPython there is a BioPython actually, so it's a bioinformatics based. So now you have you can compute it same thing into BioPython way using separate modules. So from a bio import sequence IQ. Sequence IQ will be able to fetch the sequence based features from different databases and sources. So that's what a BioPython is doing. So today we'll train it and tomorrow we'll practice BioPython, Python and databases together. And then you, for example, I have taken it if suppose you want to retrieve information from NCBI database in BioPython, you can incorporate and say get me from bio import Intrez. Intrez is the package for NCBI. And then you say interest.email, it will ask you what is your email ID. You can give any Gmail, Pmail, Dmail. For example, I have said student 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'm again getting message, so let me see who is messaging. I hope it's not from you. So then this is but at the moment I'm not interested in seeing message because let's discuss it. Then there is a handle which can handle the fetch whatever you want to fetch. You are looking in a protein database of the bigger NCBI database, and then ID GenBank. You can define this. These definitions will be available in the BioPython module, and that will be fetched. Okay, then first of all, what is important to understand what is the structure of the database, sub tables in database or sub database in the main database, so that you can fetch it. So the ID is NP. NP is the protein ID underscore something some number. 60 number is there or 70 number is there. Number will vary according to what ID it is. So you can fetch it from the source. Okay, so we will see that tomorrow how we will fetch it. But today we'll see do the entire several type of databases searches by seeing by eyes. Yeah, so that you are aware what kind of databases and what kind of databases we can build from here on. And then you of course data will be dot read handle dot read means data will be read into data string, and that data can be printed and so the data is coming from there, so that's why a figure is given there, so you can get it from there. So we'll go back and see what we are actually extracting. Some examples we'll see today. Yeah, so same way we have if you are looking for here we are looking for a GenBank file, and here we are looking for FASTA file. So when you read the FASTA file, tcp.fasta or whatever FASTA you name, star.fasta, anything you can name, so you'll get this sequence there. Okay, so this program was run some time back in actuality, and then you can run it again and try to see if you can get something else, some other information in a text mode. Yes, we are getting ID list from the file. So whatever is available in Entrez or GenBank, you are able to get it. And then if there are two different protein sequences, you get two different protein sequences, and that you can actually specify. So you will try to write it the code for similar searches, and we'll modify the protein sequences, and we'll try to download it on your terminal. But that will do it tomorrow, and also you can do some homework on that. So this is a homework, and suppose you want to download the sequence, you can go to nucleotide genome of a species. You can say Mycobacterium tuberculosis. You can download it. Sorry, I went back. So basically, you will start getting list of the Mycobacterium bacterium, and then you will start getting a lot of hits, and then you can choose one of them. You will start getting it. Now you want to have complete record, gene features or coding region from here send to where, and here you can choose lot of. So we'll do this practice it manually today, so that, and then you can download the protein sequence you are looking for. You download the protein sequence, and then similar thing you can do it in the BioPython way. And there you are using this time I just simply use a student@gmail.com, and then the ID you have to define, and then you have to define a database called ENCORE. Nucleotide database is called ENCORE, and from ENCORE you want to have FASTA CDS type of data you want to extract, that you can get it. And so the Entrez fetching eFetch is available as a NCBI book, and there further details and flags will be available. And then if you want to get any help, you can get help from the genome sources. And if you are downloading genome of cyanobacteria, several genomic database, there you see a lot of genome database. So these all we are going to practice with the different in different ways. And now you see this is there, you can filter it actually what you want to download. Then you say you only want, so there are different, the cyanobacteria is bacteria and the classification is there, and then they're asking whether you want to install download chromosome, maybe partial or complete, doesn't matter, or only complete genome, or you just want to download contigs, scaffold. Then you can choose what you want to download, partial or complete. Exclude, we exclude the partial. That means if you download all, you'll have partial also. You can exclude partial, and then you have to play around so that you know what is what, and what could be the, doesn't mean if partial is actually partial, database is not confirming, you have to confirm yourself. So one way is confirming if your genome is 5 MB, suppose it's a bacteria genome, standard genome length is 5 MB, then in most of the genome has to be in approximation 5 MB, then you are confirmed that it is not partial, because in the database may only do a keyword search, not an intelligent search like you can imagine. So machines can be better, but machine cannot be human. Yeah, that we have to always remember. Uh, and therefore you have to use your depending on what analysis you are doing, you have to use your own intelligence as well. So then nucleotide database is that will get you this data, chromosome, NC numbering, all these IDs will be available there. And RefSeq is the reference seek. FTP link will be there, so you can click it and go go there and download it by FTP link, or you can download it programmatically on terminal, or you can use FileZilla. I'm not sure how many of you have been using FileZilla, but we'll try to use FileZilla today and show you how one is downloading. So if you are going the others who have been in the class will be knowing when we go to FTP server, this is NCBI FTP server, and there in this particular genome we get lot of information. So primarily what are those information? So fa.aa is protein, GFF is the genomic file, this is genomic FASTA file, fa-na, fa-aa is a protein file, and then these are all information. So if you are interested, you can go and play around with that for a particular genome. So then this is how you'll get entire genome. So normally if we are analyzing genome, and those who have participated in analyzing SARS coronavirus genome probably understand that we downloaded everything and then open it and analyze it. So these are GIF files. So these are standard way NCBI is keeping all the files, and then it's giving all the status file, hash files, and checksum file. Checksum file you can download it, MD5 checksum file, and then if your download is proper or not, if the file is integrity file is correctly downloaded or not, that you can check it there. Okay, so then comma separated files also you can download it if you want comma separated file. Sometime you need it, right? So Gaurang is doing some analysis today. He had downloaded cancer comma separated file. I assume today's work he was doing, or sometime you download it in Excel. So and then if you look into genomic table will look like this: organism, name, organism, group, strain, biosample, bioproject, assembly level, MB, GC, replication, whole genome, scaffold, CDS, release date, GenBank, FTP, all details will be there. And then the actual detail. First line is the comment line. As you see, it start with a hash line, so that is a comment line, and second line onwards. Yeah. Hello. Okay. So I'm not sure who is the person, but unable to hear you. Okay. So then comes yeah. So these are the simply showing you what is there. FTP and FTP link is also there. And we often need an external program to calculate all the alignments, blast all the genes, so that you will get it. So basically, when you want to FTP or say wget, you can use CMD wget, and you can find it in your terminal, and you can start downloading. Maybe you will see one of the wget command today, and some examples we may see today. And then you can download the FTP content will be GIF files, and when you open the GIF file, you'll see like this. Yeah. So and if you have a FASTA file, you'll get protein.fasta file. We'll see the one example by downloading the sequences. So that's where we want to have a smaller break, and then we want to practice it. Yeah. So okay, so what we do here is that we just go. So I'm sure many of you are aware, but since we are teaching training and then a lot of programming will be required, what is required is that you just look into database. Okay, and what could be the best gene to look on? Suppose, yeah, we are looking on uh, which example should we take? We do say we are looking at MHS. Okay, HSP. Suppose HSP 47. So when I do a database search, you will get a lot of results now. So each database, whatever information is there. So in NCBI, there is a literatures. Literature is one primary database where you have, and there you have bookshelf, MESH, NLM or a PubMed catalog, and then PubMed and PubMed Central. So obviously we use PubMed and PubMed Central, right? Then you have a gene content. In the gene, you have gene content. You have geo data sets, means expression profile data sets, and geo profiles. And then you can have homogenes, pop set. Then in a protein sequence, you have this conserved proteins. You have HSP, identical protein domains, proteins, sequence, all those informations, right? So other information are structural information, assembly, bioprojects, and genomes. So two of the genomes may have the name also. So in this case, you find a 6 SRA hits also have that. So basically, what we see here is that a detailed information about it. So you get a genetic information. ClinVar is the clinical variation. DV gap is the again another variation database. DVSNP, DV variation, and Mendelian genetics. OMIMIM. So OMIMIM is providing a disease information about the gene. So let's see what is known about it. So there are four different. This is a okay. So basically they have 4 hits because they are only looking for the keyword search. Yeah, so they have searched it. Now I have to go here. Which one is actually HSP 47? So this first one, not remaining. So I'll exclude it, and then go to OMIM. Let's see what OMIM is providing. Yeah, so it's going to an external source kind of, and OIM is a oim.org, and you can say okay, it is asking us to donate, and then it will give us a kind of information, literature information. So those who have substantial primary work on the this species, they will get their names. Yeah, and primarily initial ones. So earlier who have worked, they will get their names. So so you see that they have or when they will make an update, they will update. So these are the major references when you are looking for HSP 47. So whenever we are starting work, we are looking at what is the disease correlation. So something you want to do, there has to be a logic. Protein is important for the analysis. You will look. So OMIM is another database. So from NCBI you came here, yeah, and this is the kind of providing an information about diseases, and these are the tables or links which can be achieved on OMIM database. Okay, and from they also will bring you an external database. So database and their browser of the database will provide you external links so that you are associated. You get lot of information, and you, as a user, you are satisfied. Okay, so let's come back to this, and okay, so let's see one more example. But we are going to protein sequence. So 625 protein, because simply I have said HSP 47. I'm not said human. Now what I'm getting here is that what I'm getting here is the all the species whichever is available. Now it says that there are 43 sequences from human. Then you will ask why 47 sequences, because human will have only one sequence. That's true, but there can be 43 variations, or maybe different people have put it different time, and they pull it with slightly different names. So they this is keeping there is no guarantee that it will give you only one, but all those which have been named differently, slightly differently, and also alternative isoforms. So these are isoforms here, and so they try to be as strict as possible. And so basically yeah, so you just see the other models also. The 43 is coming from all, so it's a keyword search, it's not a blast search. Okay, in a keyword search you will get hits from by wherever HSP 47. So if you are looking for Lata and not looking for Lata Mangeshkar, if you Google it, you will find thousands of Latas, right? Now you have to choose Lata Mangeshkar, so you have to specify. So what will happen? Happen here is that you will get a database. You are getting a database. From database you said, okay, I want the sequence. Now let's repeat what we have seen so far. So I can directly go here and download GenPed. I can download FASTA. I can say, for example, I just take a FASTA from here and say put it me in a text file. It gave me a text file, right? So this is the human HSP47, which is also called Serpin H1 precursor, and so you are getting it, and that's that one you will be getting as a hit. And now this one, so this is this format is called GenPred because it's a protein information. So here we have a lot of information, yeah. So who has published paper on it? All those informations are coming, and then a short summary is also provided, and then comes the sequence. So this is kind of a GenBank on this is kind of a one file format. Yeah. So if I just take the GenPred sequence, just give me a GenPred format. Yeah. So this can actually give you a suggest as a GenPred format. So this is GenPred format, but if I say send it to file, it will send it to file, and then it's asking which format you want. So there are a lot of format possible from here on. So you can say just GenPred format, create file, and now what happens? Let's see. So it's creating it for you. So it's transferring. So basically you make the request, and CBI is going to, it's a big database and a lot of people are using. So it's in biology is the mother father of all database. So a lot of people are using actually at the same time. So now it's transferring your request via web to the server where the data is stored, and now it's saying, oh my god, you have a bad gateway, so it's not going on. So let's try again. And so basically in BioPython or Python, you can programmatically download it. So I have put it in collection. You can programmatically download this in on your terminal. So you don't need to do on a web browser. Okay, so let it give again. Let's see what's happening. Okay, so in parallel, what I can do is that I can run from this database. You can go and run BLAST. Okay, so now in BLAST, we say quick BLAST. So you're probably aware of the BLAST. BLAST is, as I told you, it's searching for the. Now I have just given the ID, so it will convert ID into sequence and match the sequence to the entire database and let it run. So those who are have not run it, they will get kind of an idea. So parallelly it's running and the request ID is generated and it's searching. Yeah. So database is very big. You have to understand. So it will take time. The quick BLAST is relatively faster. So it says, okay, I have found a match. Obviously, first it will be always 100% because The reason is the sequence itself is all there in database, or maybe then there is somebody has created a synthetic construct and put it. So this is also 100%. Then 99% another synthetic so, and then you see that after human, it is getting 99.78% identical hit in before one here 90 something like that. You are getting a hit here, right? So to another species which is very close. And so let's see if you just do you can see a graphical summary how good is the hit. So hit is red ones are very good ones, so the very good ones you are getting, and then you are getting alignment. First one is exactly 100%, and because everything is matching. Okay, then second one is also probably 100% matching because they're 100% identical. And so let's the third one where it has one it has matched and there will be some difference. Where is the difference? So no, this is partial construct, not this one, maybe this one here. So yeah, so there here you see there is a difference. Are you able to see perfectly? Okay, I just zoomed it out for you. So you are seeing that that into a context that this is big one, right? So yeah, so basically what is happening here is that you are getting a hit which has only one mismatch, or so then in this species. So what could be this species? I don't know by name. Yeah, so let's see what could be this species. What you expect it to be? Yeah, I expect it to be some kind of a brother of monkeys, primates. So it is indeed. Yeah, so gibbon. So the primates are the closest homologue. If you start getting second hit or the first non-human hit as a fish or so, that will be a strange. Yeah, because fish is far away from us, they do not look like us, right? So that's what you expect in the blast. So blast is looking for the fetching you the string. So this is the string. Okay, this is the string. Now we have the query is the human sequence here, and subject is the subject is the subject is the subject is the uh, is the gibbon, yeah, sequence. Suppose from this is the alignment, you want to fetch only out of this alignment, you want to fetch only gibbon sequence from this alignment. You have this alignment, you want to fetch it. How you will do it? Anybody has idea? Let's see how much programming you have learned or how much Linux you have learned so far in two different courses. We need to fetch this, the gibbon sequence from this alignment. Anyone? You use Python, you use C, you use G, you use C++, you use whatever you want to solve the problem. Now you come up with a solution. Okay, let's make it simple for you. Let's put it in a text file. Are you able to see it, right? And now I want you to fetch it, the sequence of subject, which is subject is query is the human and subject is that monkey or gibbon, whatever. So if when you are aligning, you will get it. Okay, so tell me, anybody who has practiced this ever?
So we can use grep. We can copy this into a text file and then use grep to
Yes, that's the
grab
correct.
all the subject sequences into another text
So
file.
yeah, so that's the correct answer, and that's what that can be one way you can do it. You can do it grep a regular expression in Python, and then also you can do it, and in Perl also you can do it, and C also you can do it. So I will show you the example. So we have to be really practical on those aspects. Yeah. So I'm saying test dot align. So, if you are working or not, if you are in my institute, my director will come to you, ask you very basic such questions, and see if you are able to answer him or not. And then he do not have to ask me how you are working. So you are tested. So basically, grep is the command, and sbct. So is the yeah, I'm putting in that into inverted commas, and I'm just going into test dot ln, and these are the sequences. Okay. Now, if you a little bit if you get a programming thinking, you can delete non-alphabet characters, and also this, and then you have a clean sequence, right? So in BioPerl, they will BioPerl or BioPython. We are teaching BioPython. BioPython, they will take care of these things. So they, yeah. So you can Manish will tell you tomorrow in Python how to do it. Today he want to show you, but so therefore, if you are, it doesn't matter which way you are doing. If your foundation is strong, it is in mathematics, economics, or in finance, or in biology, you can do it. The task will be same. Forget that time you are not fetching sequence, you are actually fetching based on the concept you are fetching. You just have to fetch subject here. And if I wanted to do it reverse for a human sequence, I just have to look how it is called. It's called query. So query is the query, so it's not coming, right? So query. So these are very basic analysis. But suppose you are doing genome annotation and you want to get the fetch the top non-human human genome annotation, and you want to have top non-human sequence pull out in a database. This is the way you will do it. Doesn't matter how big organization you work, or doesn't matter how small organization, or if you are working in Microsoft, or if you are working in NCWA, you will do it in the same way. And that's the beauty of life. So things are very simple. So basically, if you are not practicing, you are harming yourself, and therefore the number of hour you are taught, the same number of hour you have to practice and build a concept and discuss even if it is wrong. So sometimes a program do not work out, but I do not stop practicing it. So then otherwise it will be difficult. So this is one very small example, and this problem can be solved in at least 10 different ways. Okay. And and you will be not the first person in the world to face it, actually. So there will be a lot of solutions available in the internet. That depends on how much time you put in pulling out. You can find different solution for fetching this. Okay. And in different programming language maybe, or in the same programming language also. So and uh, mm, and then you can fetch it. So one more example I can tell it, that you suppose you are not looking for this, you can say if new line character is new line character start with this word, you remove this word, and then only fetch me alphabetical character in upper letters. So you'll get these lines all together in a file. Okay. Then another way, suppose you are a Linux programmer, you will say this is $1 in awk programming, this is $2 in awk programming, This is $3 and this is $4. So you'll just print $4. Okay, so $3, sorry, $3 you will print it and you will get only this line, and all the other lines will be chopped out, right? If you remember. Another way, if you are not programmatically strong, you will open this in Excel, remove tool, take only these. This will be placed into single third row of the Excel file, and you can just fetch it from there. So the problem can be solved in more than one way, and therefore in Python it is solving in a much easier way. I'm not telling you the Python solution. Manish will tell you tomorrow. And his way, and everybody thinks in a different way. As I told you, there are in Python itself 10 different ways of programming, and in Srihari is programming in different way, Gaurang is programming in different way, Vinit is programming in different way, and somebody is using IPython, somebody is using terminal, somebody is using Ubuntu, somebody is using operating system wise Windows itself, and they're happy, and someone are using CentOS. So some of you are using CentOS. So that's why I showed you. Okay. So this is one example. I hope you are getting into the biology. If you are not getting into biology, how RNA-seq experiment will run? Because in RNA-seq experiment, we have to fetch. Ultimately, you are looking into the annotation, and it is a blast search. Okay, now I take you to the bottom example. Here you have 98% identical. This will be another species, right? And then this is one type of This is a protein database, protein sequences encoded by the analysis. So let's go back to NCBI again. And this is only one database. Yeah, so those who are working on database and doing programming has to master on this, and there are at least 10 more database of similar capacity, right? Gaurang, can you name 5 database today you used?
Cosmic.
Yeah.
CBioPortal.
Yeah.
Genomag.
Yeah.
Then DGenet.
Yeah.
Then Ensemble.
Okay, good. So basically, what do you think? If you understand programming really well, can we develop one of such database in our lab?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's where you are practicing actually. That's why when you join, learning Python is important, because that skill will bring you there. Yeah. So right away you can be able to develop NCBI or similar database. So you are practicing, you are given a task, but my goal is that not. I heard that someone asked, what is the role of database in our training program? The database, if you are not knowing database, 5 years later, nobody will hire. Yeah, so I'm not hiring a postdoc without knowledge of using database and programming for database. Yeah, so that's when is very important. Yeah, so that's when, and also those who are working on RNA-seq, there we need the RNA-seq in the same amount. Yeah, and we are going to show you some more real-time examples today, so that you correlate lot of Python which you have learned. Can you correlate? You can do some analysis using this your Python skills. Some of the analysis you can start doing, or Linux, can you start thinking in that way? And that's when now here onwards we are moving towards projects where you have to think how you can modify. Yeah. So let me take some more examples after this when we are finished with NCBI. So in NCBI, and the lot our cooperative student from IIT Guwahati are interested in Magic. Yeah. So Magic is an tool for RNA-seq analysis, and they want to analyze that data, right? So why I'm taking it, because that's their goal. Yeah. So every week we thought we'll have a meeting, but we do not have meeting for 2 weeks because I was busy, but we'll reschedule that meeting. But before we can have meeting, we have to understand Magic itself is a database. Yeah. So it is providing you the software, a web server with the database information. You can download a lot of data. It's a small database compared to NCBI, but it has lot of information about their paper, eLife then what extra source data, RT-PCR data, and at the end of when you want to use it, actually you have to go to this their data set and start practicing it. So I will open their first program, yeah, or maybe you can open it. Okay, let me open. Yeah, so I have opened their first program. So their first program is very big, right? Now, how many of you can read and understand? So those who have attended my class, I show this as an example. So here in the first line, the person who has developed it has had called matplotlib, and then other packages cpickle, numpy, argparse, OS, import OS to recognize what is the OS you are working with, then plotpy, color brewer, scipy, maths, fnmatch, again, and finally matplotlib. So these are the packages. So this is data science project. Yeah. So this is not just a normal biological analysis. It's a completely data science package. And then for each purpose, the person has developed a definition. Right. Now in this code, who will explain me what is the problem you see in this code just by looking by eyes, and which I don't like if you are working in my lab? Yeah, Gaurang or Vineet, can you explain, or somebody, Shri Hari is good at it. Can you explain what is that most important thing I taught you when I teach you programming, and that is missing here, and which I don't like at all? So this is a laboratory which I developed a software. Yes. Yeah. So if it was a software architecture, this is not acceptable that you import something and do not comment about it. You write a definition and do not write what definition will do. Obviously, I can guess it, list file or direct list. This is the file from directory or whatever you have to list, you list it actually. So docking is not documenting is not proper. Yeah. So therefore, in this study, we see this is a good program. They have published good paper, but software-wise, nobody is controlling it. Yeah. So there's a massive difference in research and a software industry. That if you're not making, or if how I will repeat it after 3 years if I ask somebody to develop it, and after 3 years I cannot change it. I do not see the comments. And therefore we have to know it from the very beginning, the house. So someone hiring you in a very good lab for postdoc or a research programmer, they will not hire if they see this code without comment lines, without telling what definition is, what is the purpose of the definition. Obviously I can get a meaning that it is for the getting color. Yeah, get color. So but then there is a definition and how to get color from what is the purpose, that has to be commented. Okay, and that's a much better way. And that's when it's not important that you program it, you do it programming in an appropriate way. every study, it should be replicable. And I hope that they have pull this code that is also replicable. But if they are not commenting it, then there's a question mark, and I think that means no second person had properly checked this code before putting it into GitHub, right? So that's where when you attend the conference, the guy who was from working in a data scientist in Berlin explained you that what is the difference between academic institution and industry. In industry, you are checked at every level, because they will check your software. Somebody will test it, somebody will check whether your comment is proper, somebody will check whether this color code is correct, and so the accuracy is very important for them. Fast and accuracy is very important. So here this code I am again and again showing you. The purpose is that at end of it those who are using Magic and in our lab or IIT Guwahati, we have all the infrastructures. Can we write the code in a better way? And initially we'll use it, but then we can modify it. So that's the whole idea. So and without understanding how we'll make an understanding whether the Magic users have not made an error. Okay, so then they define lot of definitions. Okay, and then they pull out their definitions. Still definition is going on, and then read mapping file. They are read mapping. So they have tried, but very little commenting. Yeah, just to see this is. I would expect each line has to be a comment when you are writing a program for a purpose, which and then pulling it out to the public. So in this portion is different than this portion, right? So did they wrote a single person, or they looks like by writing habit here somebody else wrote the program, right? So and obviously the figures and all is the subject of so basically this figure is plotting your graph like this. So this is something similar to R. So those who are and that's when Python is better than R, because Python can plot lot of data in much better way compared to even better than R. But then the question is that can we understand it? Can we go? And nobody. I cannot be a super good researcher if I do not understand. If I am lacking in a foundation level. Yeah. So if I cannot make, I'll say I'll not make an EMI calculator and I will become a Python for next generation sequencing. That's not going to work, because somewhere or other same basic foundation of EMI calculator will come in the genomics. Yeah, for example, you may have to calculate how many reads matched and what is the percentage that matched on XYZ level. So this is one example I am giving you. Why I am coming in here, I could manage it without telling you that in my view where need to be improved and where need to be practiced more. Yeah. So not just to gauge. So I do not have to ask whether those questions you answered it. Actually, if you could not answer it, that's also fine. One day I was also not knowing. So can you sit down and write this code for the parsing BLAST result? And you see there are a lot of BLAST results, right? So not just there are 5 BLAST results. So can you get 5 of this? This is the hit, and then this sequence. Obviously from NCBI you can get it in one shot. They're saying complete sequence, you can just get it. But they have already pre-computed for you. Suppose you come up with an come up, so you get it 1 because I have selected 1. If you select all of them, if you select all of them, or maybe I download it for 1. The first one, but if you just want to download all, you can download all maybe from here. Yeah, so complete sequence, and you can download it for you for all. That saves your life, but that's do not save your save you from next programming. So whenever you are using sequence, we want to use name of Homo sapiens rather than this number in the further analysis. Do you know how to replace this in a programmatic manner? And that's when BioPython will help you. Someone has developed it and then they replicated it, and that save your life. But later on in BioPython, when you're using BioPython, there are several things which you may need it for to develop on top of BioPython, and then that one you will pull it in the BioPython. So in BioPython, actually, you can calculate, reshape it, calculate the length, maybe fetch only second line, fourth line, fetch motive, and those analysis is done in BioPython. And since I was talking about databases, I thought, okay, let's pull database itself first and BioPython. Python. So tomorrow also I will teach you the BioPython and partly will program you. Then ask what could be one good example for you. Each one, ask yourself what can be done, what kind of database you can make. So those who have worked on coronavirus, they can make a coronavirus as a database, right? Coronavirus. Our idea was to develop a coronavirus database, right? So that coronavirus had 26 sequences, and those 26 sequences, can we pull it out in the database? Can we pull out some other features and pull it out in database? And obviously, I am not going to tell you all this. I thought initially to do it, but I'm thinking I give you tasks that all of you sit once more, and I think many of you have done it. Click all the modules and see what is coming out here. Okay, and suppose you want to download you have NCBI database, right? A BLAST database here. If I go to BLAST. Suppose NCBI tomorrow says, Abhishek and whole world, we are closing down because we do not have budget. You will need to download everything. You have 1 month time. If you want. If you don't want, no worries, we will be shutting down. So what people do is they download entire BLAST. So I have on my Mac entire Human Genome BLAST data set. So basically you can get all their things from Mega BLAST, NCBI databases. You can go here. You can fetch all the information. Now you say 16S ribosomal separately, environmental separately. You start getting a lot of files, but then you can also go here. Then you have NT and NR database, PDB, amino acid database, Swiss Prot is there, right? So if you now click, say one smaller one, we can do it now. So you'll start getting it, right? So this way you can download it. You can ask Python to go and check whenever there is update, download and update every month, every 6 months. So those who are running laboratories and all, they are not going there. They have a scheduled program to run it over say every 3 months. So every cycle. Okay, so they will do update it every cycle. Cycle of 90 days or so. They will update it so that they are updated. So tomorrow, if the world is divided over coronavirus or China America fighting, still your work will be not stopped. So you need to build up your own infrastructure. Obviously, this is a smaller database. 300 zip file is 133 MB. Anybody can download it today's world. But suppose you want to download NR DB. You have the data. How much is the database? This is 80 GB in the zip file. It's like four times more. A very strong zip is there. So 80 GB. First, you need bandwidth of 80 GB that your bandwidth will allow today to download 80 GB. and then you need a space, and then when you want to use it, you have to open it. So there you need to download. So basically you have to plan, and you can download it, and then you say, okay, I do not want to use it browser. Then there are several ways to do FTP. One is FileZilla is of a free software. Okay, so FileZilla you can download it. I mean, I can go to the FileZilla documentation. Maybe you can go and you can download it, and you can see how it's installed. There is a tutorial. So basically you will see a browser. Suppose this is this side is your local web page, and this is your NCBI. You can pull things here and there, and it will download and download in the browser. This is one way, but you still have to pull one by one. So one way to save it, you can, if suppose you want only from here to here, this folder itself, so that it comes, and then you can add FTP on the terminal, and tomorrow you will see FTP on the terminal, yeah, or you have seen in your course. So and then obviously you are already aware SSH in terminal, yeah. So connecting to a server, loading file, and using site and other things. So you are doing a FileZilla. There can be several other tools for FTPing, and yeah. So tomorrow you discuss with Mr. Manish. He's listening, that how he likes to FTP files. Yeah, and yeah. So this is one example I have given. Let's go back here, and that was a bad gateway. Let's see. Okay, so those who are from different backgrounds. So one more example I can show you, that we have this. We have. Suppose I want to download a genome, Rodo to Rulla. Rodo to Rulla I have worked extensively. So the Rodo to Rulla has, you see, I just wanted to download. It gave me a summary that there are 62 genome assemblies available. So it says, okay, there are 11 genomes known. Okay, 11 genomes and 64. So 11 genomes are known. Okay, so now you get entire genome. So let's see, this is one which we are working. So now we have this one, and it says there are 37 assemblies. So this one you want to get it. Why you want to get it? Because you want to reanalyze maybe. Let me see. Did I pull it out? Okay, let's see, yeah, where it went. Okay, so let me go back and say, okay. Okay, let me see what happened to FileZilla. Okay, FileZilla I think is smooth here. Yeah. Okay, so no, it's coming. So it's another other side of my folder. Come on, stay there. Okay, let me close it and again start another FileZilla for you. Okay, now NCBI. Okay, so you can do a lot of things from here, right? So one thing you can do is, suppose you know the species, yeah. Rhodotorula. Again, it's again question of which project you are working on. Suppose you are working on human genome, you will want to download human genome, and then you see the NCBI data set. API is a programmatically, then there is a command lines on which you can download it. So there are different options. And now again, when I put Rhodo to Lola, there are 22,000 genes, 99,000 proteins. SRA project where there's a research assembled, there are 615. So lot of data is available. Yeah. So you just could imagine the lot of data is 11 genomes are available if you are only want to work on Rototula. So this is a current project of the lab. Yeah. So we have our first paper on this species, but we want to continue using all of these genomes. Now I got this sequence, right? And so I want to download, so there can download FASTA sequence, genome sequence, genome format. Let's download it once. So what you are getting, the same name as I had showed you in the PPT. Gaurang, hope you are recording it. Yeah. So very long time I am putting this one is already trained. So but it's important that we are recording it, because after some time I do not have time to so let's pull it out anywhere. Okay, I just pull it out in Roto folder. Roto. And then good practice is that you write down proper names so that you remember when it was approximately downloaded. 2020-09, because I have multiple copies of this in my computer. So now I have downloaded this. So this is genomic sequence. One way is to download it, and then this says blast again. This you can also blast against it. You can download GenBank, download sequence annotation, or GenBank. You can download it. You can download the lists. You can do a lot of things from here. But what you can do is you can download assembly also. So I'm going here, and now it's saying, okay, how you want. There are 37 assemblies. Directly, if you need 37, you can download it. But 37 will be too much to download once. So let's just download maybe this one, for example, because we are anyhow doing for example, right? So this is one example, right? And then so I can say download assembly, and this is a genomic sequence. So you can say FASTA sequence, or you can say anything. You just say protein sequence maybe, because it will be shorter. So you can download one by one everything, and say download. Ref sequence download. Okay, I say okay. So it's basically pulling it out 3 times. So now I go back and say here. Okay. So now I go here and say, look for the recent file somewhere. Look for the where is the word recent here? Recent file. Okay. Still not in the recent file. Okay. So we can go to download and say this one here. Okay, so this is downloaded. So when I open this one, what will happen? It will give me FASTA sequence. Now when I open it, so any text editor you can take and open it, or you can open it in terminal. So I am looking for atom. Not in Skype. Atom. Okay, this one will also work because I think this is working. Okay, so I see this is the sequence. Yeah, this is the actual genomic sequence. So you see scaffold 1. Now I want to count how many scaffolds are there, and you want to get an overview. These all you have to do it in terminal. You can do it by grepping grep -c greater than sign this one in inverted comma, and then you can actually get the length. So this is CES. This is a DNA sequence. In bio Python, we can actually extract it, and this is one way. And now this is one from NCBI, the basic genomic database. What if you want to pull out all the information into a database for this one and beautify it? Yeah, so this is a very raw sequence. Now we need to do a lot of analysis to do it, right? Then let's go back and then see. So this is not downloading. Let's see. Port.fa. I said save it. Okay, now you see marine rototola is just downloaded somewhere else, but let's see. I just pull it out here. Maybe download it, but somewhere else. Now I want this one. I can go here, and protein is downloaded, right? Okay, so now I just need to extract it. You can do it in terminal also, but in Mac one is used to both at the same time. So this is not showing anything. So why? And this size is very small. So basically the protein sequence of this is not available. That's the reason, yeah. So, but if it is available, you have to. If it is not available, what you have to do? You have to predict the genome seq again. Yeah, you have to make a genome prediction. How many genes are there? You have to predict it. So this one you do not have it. Let's see if someone has. So basically, why I'm showing you, we are going to in a direction that from this can we make our own database. So you take the information from NCBI or from a source, or maybe from my own computer. Can I make another database? That will be the challenge. Can I make a database out of your research paper? Can I make a database out of somebody else's research paper? And that's when you need to know. So basically, you saw that we can download it from here. Now we go back and download a protein sequence. Maybe I just take this. Something is published for a long time. Maybe this one has the protein sequence. So you see, there's a limitation. As much as user is pulling out the data, you'll get it. So there is no guarantee that you'll get whatever you'll get is correct and all. So that there you have to find a way by. So I went there. I do not get. So now I'm going back to the protein database, protein sequence. Now here it says that you can download it. I just need to download protein sequence. So I just say I want to download protein sequence test one.protein. I'm just doing it for test, yeah. So okay, so are you able to see it? Okay. Are you able to see it? Okay, so this one is downloading. Yeah, it's saying something, some assemblies and valid with now. Okay, so it will download it, and it downloaded me a zip file, test1 zip file. It could now accuracy and all I have to test it. I'm not knowing accuracy at the moment, so I have to check it. And then I downloaded it or not downloaded it. It downloaded it. Yeah. So let's go again and then pull it out. You see that readme, some information is given, fetch data. Okay, from each one it has given, right? So now it has given the protein from all. Let's have one look at one. So forget all of them. Yeah, so let's have it. So what it is doing is that again we need to open it. Maybe I just open it. Any whatever tool it will open. No, that will be dangerous. Okay, so it's opening in omics box. Okay, that will be dangerous. Okay, so the omics box is another genomics tool. I think most of you are aware. Then we have a license copy. This is not open, blah blah blah, but something is saying, it's saying okay, but we actually do not want to use. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it's loading. So basically what it does, it this gave okay, so this is kind of it formed as a table, right? Omics box can directly form the FASTA sequence into tabular format. So the first one remain hypothetical, blah 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 blah. Second one remain blah 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 blah. Lot of hypotheticals, right? So then you think, okay, naming will be difficult to them, right? Because they're not many names are there. Then you need to redo some of the analysis, and even this tool can do. It will fill all this information which is blank on by doing a blast actually. So we do not want to do it now, but probably we have some information here. Yeah, you see this one. For coronavirus, we have done it. So yeah, so these are all information which is available. So cake information, all information. So what is doing actually is re-annotating all the information, pulling out into a table format. Then you can add hundreds of them, and can you make another database? And sometimes we'll publish a paper. Your boss wants you to just see the tables, and they just look into the tables, and then they publish it, right? And then they forget it. So then they forget it, and then you also forget it. But less people use it because their data is in the form of publication. So let me take you to one of the example where we have produced our own data, large scale data, scopular Riopsis bravicalis. So now when you look this one, let's see. So this is the beautiful fungi, bluish color, and we have one of the our lab and my previous work is one of the major characterizer of the this paper, right? So we have a lot of information pulled out, and this information is published in PLOS One. Everybody forgot it, right? Work is done. I did a very good job, and that's when my boss asked me. I did my best job and gave him. He forgot it. Now data is massive amount of data is there inside it, and it's not available to the public. So this is one table here. I'm just pulling it out for you. Just let it open anywhere. And then what you see here is that you see a lot of as a very big table, all genes, their names, lot of information as you was. So lot of information is there. You see. But now these are Excel sheet. How many people have downloaded it? Do you imagine how many people have downloaded it? I think hardly people will download it from supplementary file. And if you pull it out in database, maybe more people will use it. And because it will be easily searchable, because suppose data of NCBI was in a large Excel file, you will not searching for a gene there, because a human has a tendency to see by eyes and then do the analysis. And as they have simplified it, this all data is in a kind of a table or database, and then from there we have. So why I'm showing you that this one we want to pull it out. The result of this we want to pull it out. We'll also have the result of S9 table is the RNA-seq result. This result we want to pull it out in the form of a for database. It's actual project, yeah. So if somebody want to carry it, they can carry it. So guidance will be provided to you. So and that is an example. So we can, in our next analysis, we can also use it. So maybe you can have Excel, zooming out in Excel. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is colorful one. So this first one is the gene names. So basically the same name is taken, genome annotation. Yeah, so the same name is taken from here. And then we have pulled out different categories depending on the RNA-seq expression. Okay. So the code is given here, right? So that our tier 1, tier 2, or depending on how much expression is there. So basically there are 10 or 12 tables there, and can we pull out in the table this one into a database with newer information? So there are a lot of not availables may be solved, because this was analyzed in 2011, 12, 13, and now almost 10 years later on. Can we analyze again and see if there's improvement on annotation, plus improvement on the pull out new tools and pull new information, pull RNA-seq data to database, so that somebody is looking for some kind of expression analysis in their laboratory, they can pull it out. So that's where we intend to, and that's where you can actually train. So basically that will be taught by Mr. Manish tomorrow, and then tomorrow class we will see very easily can do a modification in, if you have everything in a database on program or Excel sheet, or to a sheet, or if you pull it out in a database, or you pull it out data, you can actually start analyzing it. For example, I can show you, we can analyze it, that suppose I want greater than 1000. So these are the red ones, are the one which are higher. So if you see something 2000, what if I'm looking for expression value more than 5000? Oh, I've just put 5. Yeah, so all are coming. So 5000, only 14 genes are there. Yeah. So these all information, and then what are those genes are? I cannot able to zoom it somehow. Okay, let's go here. Okay, maybe I make the font bigger for this, so that you can see. Okay, so most of them remain hypothetical at that point where the expression is very high. And expression is in the range of some thousand. Yeah. And many of them, these are 2 copper transporters. Yeah. Histone 3. So there is 2 genes coming up in and they are copper transporter, iron copper transporter. So this is a marine fungi, what copper transporter is actually doing there, and what is the role of copper transporter in marine fungi, or say in fungi? Can we correlate it? And so there can be a new finding, or if you take it all those which are matching genes of that time. So maybe you make a cutoff of something, and then if it is available to a database in an appropriate way, others can use it, and if it is not, then one cannot use it. But how you can, so I did in Excel this manipulation, how you can pull it out in Python, and how you can pull it out, you will see tomorrow. And that's when, so are you getting it? So let's now have a discussion. Yeah. So okay. So someone, I'm able to hear. Okay, so now you have an idea, right, of how it's going. So let's have a discussion. What did you understand? How you will? Your task for today is that you go to NCBI and check all the features of NCBI. Yeah, so an NCBI is one out of 200 highly usable tools, a database. 200, not less than that. Yeah, minimum 200. So let's have a discussion. If you have a question, and we can answer now, and we can see what could be the what did you understand, where did you need a help in understanding why database is important. So uh, uh, yeah, so Vineet, you have understood everything, or do you need an explanation or something?
Sir, I have understood most parts of it. I'll
Yeah.
practice it once, then I think I'll find what problems I'm having.
So have we in your master thesis what all five database you primarily used extensively? So you have used it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
I've
uh,
Phytosome.
yeah. So he used Phytosome as a plant database. Yeah. So that's why I asked him this question. So Phytosome. So never think that this is not of my use. Yeah, then you will miss understanding. It's a plant database, but can we if you see the example, can you replicate similar database in the other species? And that this is JGI, so it's not an they are updating all the time. Yeah, so 13 version is 2000. uh, so then Phytogen next is the website. Okay, so they are coming with a time to time. So heavily funded organizations can actually develop it, and the funding is only coming because they have developed the initial versions. Yeah. So now you see that they have a lot of genomes, and then Vinit's role was to identify serpins in the set of plant genomes, right? So he did it, and then that's when he got that's when he one of his major tasks of master thesis. So basically it has 184 genomes of annotated ones, and now randomly you can we can go to anyone, and then we'll have this, you can blast it on the blast is option. So you can even download the data, so when the data is available from when it's given here, and release notes and other things are given. So these are the genomes. So if you are looking at a plant genome, this is one of the largest repository of plant genomes, on which you can do the analysis. You can download it, and can we beautify it further? These are the with these questions one is working. So now you can download this. What kind of download you need? So you can actually download it. Then I think everybody else has used Ensemble database, right? And now it's which version? It's 101 version. So every 6 month there is a one more version. So it's 101 version, and there you will have a lot of information as well. And Ensemble is also second one of the largely used database, and it also provide you a lot of information. So those who have not used extensively can go and play with it, and those who are working and training with me for several months, so they are, I expect them to be fully aware, and if they have not, they should do it. And yeah, so these are all foundation. Suppose you did an RNA-seq experiment, you want to correlate with existing data, right? So it cannot happen that you did some RNA-seq expression. So what is one gene alternative splicing, which is used for the which is used for the which is one of the critical genes in alternative splicing? I'm asking to those who are working on alternative. Pratap, can you answer? One gene which is used most in the alternative splicing, which expression you may want to check it. You can open the mic if you are. So basically, alternative splicing in splicing, there are several genes involved, and primarily even a spliceosome is involved. A spliceosome. So a spliceosome has a lot of proteins. Maybe how many proteins you expect in a spliceosome to be? How many? How many? How many? So alternative splicing group and even non-alternative splicing group can try to answer this. Sir, we want to check the alternative splicing gene involved in neurological. No, but what gene you think is involved? So this is preparatory. Preparatory analysis for you. What 100 genes you expect to be involved in a spliceosome analysis? Yeah, so these are the genes. Okay. If you guys have not read it about it, because RNA-seq, yeah, so this U1, U5, U6, U4, these will be helping assembly, forming a spliceosome, and so those genes will be important. So I'm randomly telling you have to read it, and actually, so there is an alternative splicing, somal formation. So there will be. So when you are doing alternative splicing or RNA-seq, you need to have an early hand idea which gene will be involved, and therefore reading is very important. Not after the experiment you can start thinking that this gene will be involved. Most of the RNA-seq experiments are designed in a way that you are looking for expression, and then you will have some surprises, but you will know what is the system and what is the which are genes are involved in alternative splicing. Fungal spliceosome. Fungal spliceosome. Okay, so let's see. So suppose you are looking in fungi. Suppose doesn't matter where you are looking. If you are looking in you have to get it from some species, say fungal spliceosome. Isn't it there is a database for spliceosomal protein? So you have to look into it. So basically you'll get it. We had and my team has already analyzed previously. So okay, so you will get this list of genes actually, and they will be primarily very similar to human. So you have to keep on preparing for studying. You cannot say okay RNA-seq होने के बाद मैं करूँगा पढ़ना चलूँगा. नहीं पढ़ना पड़ेगा आपको पहले से. And that's why I asked whether you are checking how many genes are there in alternative splicing. Yeah, so we have very beautifully written here how many genes are there and which genes are most important. In human, at least I would say 500 genes are there, and here also we have identified at least more than 300 genes. So If you go and look like total, they say 49 SPN proteins, then so 300 proteins were there in total here. So basically, at least you are looking at 500 human genes. So spliceosomal alternative splice. So this is one paper where we have worked, and so there are those who are actually any experiment when you are going to do, we have to do the background story beforehand. We cannot wait until the end. Yeah. So this is for fungi only. Say, let's see, in human. So the alternative splicing or spliceosomal proteins involved in alternative splicing will be critical for you in your study. And spliceosomal. So yeah, so they activated spliceosomal in 3 conformational states. So here also the backgrounding will be provided here also, right? So it's just not that in one day they come up with this. They will take some time. At least from 20 years, people are studying spliceosome, and so you have to keep on reading. Yeah, so this could be one good example, the science of spliceosome. Yeah, so sub complex. So basically, you have to look into which one, what is the exact number in human, and out of those, how many of them are alternative spliceosome DB, maybe just say, let's see. Yeah, you see there is a database. So so then yeah, over 200 proteins in highly dynamic fashion. It is assembles 5 and 5 plus 200. So what they are saying here. So, but its number is even more. So basically, this is one specialized database. So since we are discussing database, so my idea is to if you are looking into alternative splicing genes in RNA by RNA-seq experiment, actually you will have to what you will first think is these 200, at least 200 these genes will have some role to play. And if you read carefully, there are not of all 200, but I think 50, 60 or 70 of them are involved in alternative splicing. So their expression will definitely change if you are looking into alternative splicing and role in any system. And this what can we search from here? Okay, so then, yeah, so these are human proteins we are getting. Yeah. And so okay, so this is what you need to really know if you are working on any form of splicing related issue. A spliceosome is the proteins which are involved in a splicing. And then in our paper also we have also explained what is there. Where is our paper actually? So you can go and have a look, but you will get it from, it's published in Current Science. So you will find them find the proteins involved in alternative splicing with roles in alternative splicing. So obviously even during alternative splicing, spliceosome has to be formed, and then normal splicing also happening with this, and alternative splicing also. So you will expect some of the specialized proteins and some of the normal spliceosome forming protein will have higher or lower expression, right? So that's where you need to check carefully. And then if they have pulled out the database, they have they have also pulled out mass spectroscopies, spectrums and all for this. Can we build up on a database of a spliceosome or alternative splicing based spliceosomal database with RNA-seq data? So that can be one data which Pratap and others can think when they are working on alternative splicing. And so I mean, initially you to look that this database is actually formed by is formed and is based on a very complex programming. No, it's not actually. It's very simple programming. Only thing is that you need to have a table or a MySQL database, and then you need to develop the database. So in my team, the Gaurang and Vineet will be developing, and we'll think how we can even pull it out the analysis, and RNA-seq can pull it out the data sources for that. So then you may say not now, maybe 6 months later, can we start developing. So there you are doing, so Gaurang and Vineet, you are analyzing the variants, and then these are just a practice ground for you. The later on comes the major analysis, and can we develop such databases? Can we develop RNA, merge a database of spliceosomes, and there can we pull it out mass spectroscopic, genomic, and a multi-species database, not just human. Can we use it? Lot of data is there. Can we pull it out and make sense of that? Those will be the one where so once you start understanding, so it's not just, I'm telling you, it's not just economics is important. Programming in economics, it's same as programming in Python. Python programming in for biology. So it's a little bit modification. So then if you are understanding it, then only we will be successful, and then only we will be able to do it. So tomorrow we'll see more of a bio Python, and then can we use this method in development of BioPython. Can we fetch the data from NCBI and other sources using BioPython? Can we use BioPython as a tool for further Python-based development of databases, and also database and BioPython will be merged together. So today you learn what is existing databases, how we can build up a database. Can we build up a drug database? So drug docking, which we are doing. Can we build up a sequence database? Can we build up a RNA-seq on other genomics database? Even a smaller one. This is much smaller than compared to what NCBI, what people are using in NCBI here. So and not everything NCBI can pull it out, because they will also lack staff. Initially, with a smaller database, and they also started one day. So just imagine they just started in 1977, 80s at one point, and slowly they build up onto large database. And so can we build up such a database? So because we are not born, so how can we develop at that time? So that's not possible. But today it's possible, and imagine they developed in where when the C or Fortran they were using. So now this much simpler languages are there, so we can actually do it. And we'll see tomorrow some examples of fetching data and information. So today we are not pulling it out, because I wanted to convey you message that database, fetching file from database or creating a database is most important. And then slowly entire program will be shifting towards biological programming or bio programming. And then we will do a case study like today we did it for Magic, that this code is Magic is available, and what is the objective of the code and what is the limitation of the code, so that you can develop a better code. And then we are checking. So in as you see in the lab, we are checking all the shortcomings. So tomorrow somebody else is telling you that okay, your code is not precise, the state of art is not good, state of art methodology you don't know. I will be able to tell you, okay, where we need to improve, and then our codes will be available to the public, so that they understand that you are given a proper training, rather than you learn yourself and then did something which is partially okay, and this solves only the problem of supervisor. So the magic supervisor must be very happy that, okay, they have done, they develop a tool, publish a paper. That's what supervisors are looking on. But my supervision is providing you enough guidance that this will help you, but maybe after 15 years you say, oh, I was not knowing this, and I wish I was trained it in the very beginning. uh, the, then that's when I take care that we are not going or for all the teams. So if you are associated member of the group, or if you are a trainee of the group, or if you are a collaborative student, I want to give you that idea that why we are doing this. We are taking a pain, like who is talking on Saturday? I can happily sleep on Saturday, right? And or watch movie, but then proper training will help us in your future. That's why I'm providing it, and in a long run as individual, and also to all of us. Yeah. So that's with this we'll end up today, and then we will get you tomorrow good examples of BioPython, and uh, pulling the genomic data from the sources, and also we'll start looking in individual projects. So the server payment was done, so server is about to come anytime. So there was some delay, but server is about to come. So yesterday the payment was done. So once the server is available, you will get individual access, and then development will also be start. We'll start Magic, and we'll start all large scale cancer genomics or neurogenomics projects up and running. And obviously by then you are training yourself how the variants are looking, and also those who are doing drug docking. Yeah, so then with this we'll end up, and the next week we'll have yeah, tomorrow we'll meet again. So I will take care of these wherever bio-intensive programming, because how you'll understand when to start programming if we don't know the if you don't know the concept of the programming in biology. Yeah? What is the purpose of the program? Why you some of you might be thinking why you are learning so extensive programming. So the programming is a lifelong skill. So it's not necessarily only in biology, but it's a skill which can be used even outside biology, right? So Python programmers have much in it. So even if you're not doing tomorrow programming in Python, it will help you in the career development. So that's why we are pulling it, and then it will make the analysis further very fast in the team. And even when you are not in the team, in next team where you are going, there also you'll be valuable customer, very valuable. The Ravi Shastri's customer, what I am using. You are a kind of a will be a good role to play. And so this will I hope that you have understood, and whatever you're not able to understand, do ask me, and those who are not attended can join the class this by watching the video. Yeah, with this tomorrow also we'll have every weekend we'll have joint we'll try to have a joint meeting, so that both the training side is improving at the same time, and the rest of the day we are meeting individually or separately. Okay, so with this I will hang up here, and we'll see tomorrow the programming part. Okay.